What's up, everybody?
What's up?
I'm TJ Majors, spotter of the 73 ARCA car this weekend, the second place finishing again, 88 Xfinity car, and the 6 Cup car.
That's awesome. Brett Griffin, spotter, Richard Childress Racing. I'm back at the racetrack this week. And Freddie, I think I've found somebody that loves parity and racing. Denny Hamlin has won 4 of the 12 Cup races so far this year.
He's great. I don't know what to tell you. Who are you spotting for? Is it Austin again? Or?
I can't tell you. I
I
don't know.
You don't know.
I know, but I don't know if they've told y'all yet.
How does
How
that
do you
work?
not know if they don't know?
So
you know
it's
what
not
I mean?
Austin.
I can't tell you that.
Well,
You
we
literally
already,
tell us everything
He cannot
else.
confirm
so.
nor deny.
we can pretty much name. I mean, we can tell you who the only possible suspects are.
There's a couple.
There's a couple.
suspects.
Oh,
It's a
one-
fluid situation.
Yeah, one's Australian, one's. I mean, right?
It's a fluid
It's
situation.
there's
looking.
more than that.
I don't
There's
speak Australian.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you're probably
Yeah,
right.
you
No,
do.
I don't think. No, they wouldn't. They would need an interpreter.
Yeah.
Pageland and Australia would need an
No,
interpreter.
Pageland and Australia are very similar.
What's up, Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, Kyle Sieg this week. Hi, Casey.
Hello, Casey Boat here. Well, the sun was finally shining. The stands were
I didn't even know they had a sun in
packed.
Delaware.
Dover finally had a good weather weekend, and of course, all is right. Denny gets another win, and maybe this is his year for a championship.
They had a good weather day. Saturday was miserable.
Okay,
Friday.
but they got
Friday.
the race in. Let's be honest.
We ended that ARCA race, and I was shivering. It was bad.
Yeah, it was-
like it was one of them. Then Saturday was getting to that point.
Yeah, it was wild, but thank God Sunday rolled in there. Sun was out. Got to see a bunch of our friends at the old get-together on the front stretch there. Shout out to Zane and Briscoe and Josh for swinging by. That was fun. But, yeah, I mean, the race was the race.
As expected. Hot.
What? So, Brad, I'm assuming, just got loose. And
Yeah, we were just really free, and we were trying to pass Noah for 12th, and just spun out.
sounded like that was hard to do. Kyle didn't seem very happy with Noah after the race as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty early in the race. I don't know what. That was
It
fairly
was the
early.
end of the first stage, right?
Yeah,
It was
something
right
like
at the end
that.
of the first stage.
It's worked
Yeah.
out for him considering his finishes lately.
Yeah, I don't know. Just trying too hard a little bit, and these cars, there's no, if you're loose, you can't drive them sideways like you used to be able to when, them guys. And I ran into Jimmy Saturday night, and he said the same thing. I mean, we used to watch Jimmy come off turn 4 at Dover, and he's broadside. Like, you could read his door numbers from the flag stand, and it's not like that anymore. And just got a little too free, and then we damaged the car a little bit, and from that point on, we cut a tire a little bit later, and we were just on damage control. So
You mentioned Jimmy, and there's something that came up this weekend with Jimmy where he got out there and was, again, advocating for more practice. And it was like, he said, like, if we just get 45 minutes of practice, that would be good. And I don't know, I have to ask Jimmy this, but it's like, are you just looking for more laps? Because you can't make major adjustments to the car. If you have a 45-minute practice and you come in and want to change, all the springs and shocks, it's going to take more than that time to get it done. So I get the guys wanting more time, but are you just looking for more laps?
Let me ask you this: and I haven't talked to Jimmy in a while, but if you practice on Friday for 45 minutes and then Saturday for 45 minutes.
That's a different story. But what he's saying is, I just want one 45-minute session. You know what I mean?
And my problem with that is, how many sets of tires are you going to have?
Yeah, that's the thing. But like to the same thing, like you can't make I mean, you can make minimal adjustments in that amount.
what
of time.
about the same schedule we have now? Practice, qualifying on Friday, short practice, and then Saturday have a happy hour.
Happy hour? Yeah, I mean,
Or happy
hour-
45
happy
minutes
hour
or
would be
whatever.
a happy thing.
I
around
feel like if you're gonna add practice, there has to be a big gap in between the practices, because you need time to pull the underbody off of this thing. And as meticulous as the teams are with how they set the cars up, like that is something that's not going to be an easy process for them to do at the racetrack. So I mean, I know what these teams want in more practice, and I don't know if it's just more laps, but like the people that are asking for more practice have to be. They got to be more clear about what they want, because it's got to be a Friday Saturday deal basically. If you're going to overhaul the car, like it's
I think it's two
not
different
something
things.
you can do in an hour.
I think for Jimmy, it's laps.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy obviously doesn't run these things every week, and when he does, he seems to be playing catch up a lot. And yesterday he had a fairly decent race. I mean, he was competitive, for
How did he lose 2 laps?
probably the long runs. And and I'm not sure he's raced these cars enough to. I mean, he's still figuring out the car.
I missed the first quarter of the race because I thought it started at like 3:30.
Yeah,
Well, that's when they usually start.
For somebody who is on Twitter 20 million times a day.
He texted me about something, and
Tweeting
I was
his
like,
life.
yeah, the race started 30 minutes ago. Just so you know.
But to that point, obviously Jimmy doesn't have a ton of time in this car. I mean, is that the consensus across multiple drivers?
I think that the calibration here is the guy's 11-time winner at Dover.
Right.
And you expect him to be able to put the glove on and it fit, and it's not fitting. And I think Jimmy's lobbying for more laps for that to be the case.
What I was going to tell you, the other second thing is for Jimmy's laps. To me, a guy, you know, who else is wanting more? Did Brad say he wanted more practice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for us, to me, it would be, okay, we're looking to dial ourselves in closer. We don't have quite the resources that the bigger teams have still. And, you know, I don't think Denny's going to make his car 10% better. They're probably not going to make many changes at all. They're going to gain a little bit. We have an opportunity to gain bigger chunks with the practice because we're probably, you know what I mean? Like
At this point, they need to give Ford an extra practice.
And Bubba made the comment yesterday, and I kind of agreed with him. Like, that practice on Saturday was one of the most useless practices we ever had because it's completely different track conditions. You know, where nobody really knew what to do about a tire. Now you see some guys we kind of a lot like Bristol cording tires in practice that we knew probably wasn't going to happen on Sunday because the temperature's going to be
a lot of rubber.
Yeah, it's going to lay way more rubber, and the temperature's going to be way higher. So you know, you ask for more practice. If we had 3 hours of practice on Saturday, it would have been completely useless. So. I don't know. I think we're in a pretty good spot with practice, but obviously, you know, for the fan side of it, I know they want to see us on track more, and I could support that 100%.
Talking about driving styles, though, I saw some videos this weekend of cars going around a racetrack from the hotel and press box and all that. Man, I remember when you would stop to make the corner, you would try to roll the center, and all your speed was found center out. Those guys in the center of the corner are absolutely flying. It looks like they're not even using any brake.
You should hear them in qualifying when they're going around there. Qualifying that, it is barely out of the throttle. And that's one of the issues to me there is it making passing hard is they're just in the throttle so much. And you don't really notice it in practice because there's so many cars out there. But when they qualify and you got a chance to hear these guys, man, they are flying. There.
You can see in the videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dover's a fast place.
Had the race look on television.
It was good. I mean, look, Dover's one of my favorite racetracks unless I'm slow because that is not a fun place to spot when you're not fast. But, I mean, hey, listen, the cool part about it is, like we talked about last week, would the groove widen out? It did. I mean, the track took rubber, and, I mean, all the things I like about Dover happened. You had a crazy wreck on a restart, which are always a big deal. You go back and watch the Dover races. It wasn't uncommon for us to see 8 cars finish on the lead lap when this was a 400-mile race with no stage brakes. So this is a place I do think stage brakes are a good thing. And, again, Dover is literally one of my favorite tracks. I know Dale Jr. hates concrete. I don't. It's just a Bristol on steroids when you look at it, and it honestly looked like a great turnout for fans.
It was the fans were. I mean, that place is packed, and I'm sure the weather had a lot to do with that. They haven't had a really good, you know. And we were at an event on Saturday night. And I was talking to Marcus, and he said, "Man, these fans up here are one of the most diehard fan bases because you see." He says, "We see over time, you know, if you get a rain out at a race or a rain delay or whatever it is," he says that hurts your attendance for the next couple of years, and then obviously when they get good weather, it trends back in the right direction. He says these fans come out. He's like, we've had a clean, a Sunday here with nice weather in probably 4 or 5 years. He goes, and the fans just keep coming. And now that the weather's gonna be nicer, he's like, obviously there's gonna be more of them. But he was just saying it's a testament to how deep that fan base is up there. That even those rainouts and the weather never really affected the turnout. So. It was awesome to see. There was, I've seen some people complain about maybe some traffic issues, but I mean, that's what you're going to get. Yeah, like when you see, I like it. Like when we get caught in a little bit of traffic on the way in, I'm like, good. That means we're going to have a good crowd today.
When you go to a football game, what do you get in on the way there?
Yeah,
traffic.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's just to be expected.
You know how to fix that?
Leave early.
Camp.
Yeah. Stay at the track.
Stay at the track.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, the race for me looked fine. There was I think what really the first half I thought was really good because because the track conditions were so different on Saturday, I think you've seen some guys qualify up front that maybe weren't going to be as good on Sunday, and some guys not as far up. Like Truex, I thought was the best car at the beginning of the race, and maybe he was probably the best car right up until he got into the back
5
of
was
Alex.
probably the beginning of the race. The 5 was
The 5, the 19. They're flying.
Honestly, I thought we were third to them. We were following the 5.
You
up
were
through.
hauling ass at the end of that first run.
Yeah, we were moving.
And then, so you've seen them guys kind of cycle to the front. And then once the 5 to 19, those guys got to the front, there was a lot less moving. But I thought at the beginning of the race was great, and then you just kind of, you race it out from there. But it was hard to pass. You've seen guys complaining about aero blocking, but that's what you're going to have.
If it was hard to pass, how did Larson get up to the front from starting 21st?
Well, so we started. Where we start 24th or something. We were a couple rows behind him, and we followed him through. I mean, it's just the first run's always different. Everyone's cars are a little bit, and not everyone's cars are. You made them adjustments before the race, and everyone's a little bit different. After everyone gets an adjustment, they get faster and it gets harder. And
that's what fans need to realize is every time we stop the race and allow these guys to work
time we
on
hit
them,
pit road.
Cars are going to get better. The drivers have given their feedback. The crew chiefs and engineers are studying sim. The spotters have given their version of what's happening, Casey. So when you see us come down pit road, so if you're leading the race, right, and you see the guy behind you is kind of chipping away at you, and that caution comes out, even though you're leading the race, your car has to be better. You can't just say, oh, we're leading, we're good, no changes. Like you have to realize everybody behind you, when that caution comes out, they're going to make their car better.
Yeah, everybody does. I mean, it's just – that's every week. That hasn't changed that's every race ever.
So deeper we go into the race, the harder it's going to be to pass.
Yeah, for sure.
Bubba or Freddie, for you guys, you were pretty much just outside
You
the
make
top
a pretty
10.
Bubba. You look like a Bubba.
I look like a Bubba?
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
I see the resemblance.
Bubba Craft.
Bubba crap.
Bubba was just outside the top 10 for quite a while, and then obviously, had that wreck at the end. What ultimately ended up happening there?
So we started 15th, 16th. We ran 12th, 10th, 11th, the whole race.
We passed you earlier, didn't we?
Early, like first stage probably.
Yeah.
Right. We
Where'd you
almost
start?
hit you when you spun out is what happened to us.
Yeah, wow. That's what I say. Get Freddie, get him.
So yeah,
that's right. I
but
forgot about that.
we were probably right there, 10th, 11th, and I think we were going to run there. We might It's kind of one of them deals where I felt like if we cycled the track position and we're 4th or 5th, we could have probably run 4th or 5th.
I figured we were 7th to 9th, somewhere in there, 5th to 9th.
So
it
was one of them deals where it was track position based, but we were going to have a good day. We were going to have a top 10 day, I think, and then the restart. The problem was on the restart we had just pit. We had to take the wave around. We got trapped by the leader. There's 4 or 5 of us that were top 10 guys that had to start right in what happens is the top 8 were on the lead lap, so they all cycle to the front. Then you have a group of 6 or 8 guys that pit, but their laps down. Well, now those 6 or 8 guys are going to be between the 8th place car and the 9th place car. So, you're going to be in a rush to try to get through there. And, you see the replays I was talking about with Brent last night, and I don't know who to blame, if there's blame. It's just we go into one. Tyler makes an aggressive move to get inside the 71. He gets a little free underneath him, kind of moves up. That packs air on the 71. 71. You can hear in the in-car, the 71, you could hear he gets himself into a bad spot where he lifts. He's not trying to wreck us by any means, and I don't want – Zane got a lot of hate last night for that I don't think he deserved. He's not trying to wreck us. He's out of the throttle when he hits us. He could tell he's in a bad spot. He's completely trying to bail out of there, and he just kind of chases it up into us and unfortunately turns us, and then here comes the whole field. Brandon Lyons apologized for hitting us. I'm like, Brandon, we're sliding across the racetrack in front of the whole field. There's nowhere to go back there. But I don't, you guys watch replay. You got a less biased opinion. I didn't see anywhere to really, it sucks for us. We got caught by somebody else's mistakes, but I didn't see anywhere where there's really blame to assist.
If I'm Zane Smith, I'm probably pissed off because Tyler Reddick is very aggressive, makes it 3 wide. And Zane has to realize right there a couple things. Where's he at in points?
It's not going to matter. Points aren't mattering today.
I know,
right now.
but where's he at in points?
Not good.
Not good.
Does he have any?
Does he need a DNF on this particular day? Does he need to be involved in a wreck? Does he need to be in a bad position? No, he needs laps in this car, and he needs to be competitive. Well, he's now in a competitive situation where he's put in a bad spot by Tyler Reddick. Tyler goes in there. Tyler does wash up, and it washes them all up, but they all recover. Then when Tyler tries to get off of him, Tyler gets loose again, and Zane is kind of coming down to get on his door, it looked like to me, almost to side draft him. That was where Zane made a mistake. Zane should have said, man, I'm in a bad spot. I got to ride this thing out. Somehow or another, I got to see the other end of this corner. And I think the competitive nature in his brain couldn't let him do that. And he went back down trying to race him, and that's when they all wrecked each other. I don't think it was anybody's, quote, fault. And people on my Twitter were saying, don't call this a racing deal. I hate those words. I think Zane got in a bad spot, and he didn't try to dig himself out of it. He tried to remain a race car driver in that particular situation, and he needed to just forfeit what he was going to lose.
I don't know if I kind of disagree with that, because Zane's racing too, and I don't know what position he's in. I don't know if he's got 2 or 3 cars running on the same lap as him if he's racing. If they're racing for the free pass, I don't know. I don't think they were racing for that. But you don't know what their scenario is. But one thing you said though is Tyler drives in there, makes it 3 wide, makes one mistake already, and washes everybody up, and then has another little wiggle again. To me, if anybody's to blame, which I do think it was a racing deal, but if anybody's to blame, to me, you got to put more of it on. It's not Zane's job to lift for some other guy's mistake. I know what you're saying if he wants to big picture and race out, but Zane's racing too. And if Zane keeps letting guys put him in bad spots and lifting, they're going to keep doing it to him again and again and again. And, to me, one thing that Zane probably should have done more is be a little more defensive on don't even let the situation happen. Stop it from happening before it does.
Protect the bottom,
and then it doesn't even happen. But once they get there, obviously it sounds like Tyler had a couple little wiggles, mistakes, and which kind of created the scenario for the wreck. But to me, those guys are all racing for position. They're racing hard. Guys are going to get loose. Guys are going to lose the nose. They're going to have things happen. So,
and we just talked about how fast these guys are. They're hauling ass through the center of the corner. So if Zane does try to back out of that situation, it's not like we're the tail of the field. He's just going to
he might get run
over from behind by somebody else. So I mean, again, it's just it's
product of the racetrack.
Unfortunate. I can tell you whose fault it is. It's whoever tweeted 2 weeks ago that we had the longest streak without a DNF, because now we've got back-to-back ones. So I appreciate that person. I wish I could go back and find it. Come to your house.
It's John.
It's probably my brother. Yeah.
Innocent victim of circumstance.
But also, this is a product of that racetrack. When you come off the corner at Dover, this isn't like a big wide track. This is a very narrow track, and it's hard at 2 wide and 3 wide. Good luck.
Yeah, it's basically impossible.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, like you said, it has to be.
Coming off 2 under that bridge, 3 wide.
Dude, 3 wide. 2 wide, you're like, oh, are they going to make it? I mean, 3 wide.
Yeah.
Off of 2 at Darlington, off of 2 at Dover, 2 of the most exciting corners in all the NASCAR.
Honestly,
especially on restarts.
They fixed Darlington, though.
Yeah, they did.
Like, it used to be, you used to tense up when you were racing over there. Now,
I used to tense up watching them.
Yeah, now you're just like, they're good.
Yeah.
On a similar topic of racing deals, Alex Bowman had some words for Kyle Larson on his pit road incident. What in the world happened there with Kevin Hamlin?
It was a pit road incident, or I think it was on a track. I thought it was on a track. But
I think it's on the track.
I think he was just racing. I think they were racing.
They showed Kevin talking on TV after the pit road incident. What the conversation between Bowman and Kevin, or whatever was happening on their radios between the crew chief, spotter, driver, channel 1, channel 2, was a Larson related deal on track, not pit road.
Yeah, and I think that to everybody's point, you have to do it. Aero blocking is a gigantic part of the sport now, because there was guys at times yesterday that would run us down, and we would take their lane away. I think Ty Gibbs is a perfect example. We took his lane away for a minute and made a move, and then he moved, and we found a little bit of speed, and we drove back away from him.
You were easy to pass when we got to you.
Yeah,
well, you just never left the bottom.
Really good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're easy to pass because Bubba, at that point, it's early in the race. There's no reason to really do that. There's no reason to aero block for 12th or 13th. You know what I mean?
When a guy's faster,
yeah, and he caught you from behind. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one thing if we restart together and we try to, we're holding you off. But
y'all tell Suarez that?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't figured that out yet.
No, he's got 6 mirrors in his car.
But so I'm sure Kyle aero blocked and raced hard or whatever it was. And,
he's leading the race.
Yeah, and Bowman got frustrated about it, which Bowman, neither one of them are in the wrong. Kyle's doing what he has got to do. Bowman should be frustrated because he can't pass him and he knows he's better. But the thing is, like with Kevin, I don't know how many people realize this, but like Kevin works for Alex, during the week outside of Hendrick Motorsports. So I think this is just buddies, having a moment. I mean, Bubba told me to shut the up a couple weeks ago at Bristol, and I was like, yeah, Roger that, shut the
once.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot, but so this is just heat of the moment. Like, and the clear by 5, good luck is like the same thing. Like, all right, have fun. It's not gonna like he's gonna.
This just makes for good TV.
Yeah, it just makes for good
I
content.
mean, Alex is frustrated. Kevin's trying to motivate him a little bit, and Alex just didn't want to hear a little bit.
Kevin is a passive aggressive. Let's just go ahead and state the facts.
That's not nice.
With a really cool arm sleeve tattoo. That's what Kevin. I know, Kevin, I love you. You know that. But
Yeah.
stop being a on the radio.
He just motivates him.
That coming
And
from me.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Everyone has their different style of.
Don't be a on the radio. Just be a all the time.
So
like Brett.
we told this story years and years ago, but I'm going to tell it again because it's been so long ago. We were at Watkins Glen, and Kevin Hamlin, I looked down there during practice, and Kevin Hamlin he's spotting for somebody. And I'm like, well, I thought that guy drove. I thought I saw his name on the lineup sheet or whatever, entry list. So next thing you know, I'm watching qualifying, and out goes Kevin Hamlin. I'm like, damn, he was up here spotting a minute ago. Now he's qualifying a car. So here we are. We get in the race, and sure as hell, Kevin Hamlin starts the race. Well, he DNFs. He doesn't make it. Well, it ain't 10 minutes later. I look down there, and this guy's standing there spotting. Well, next thing you know, his car gets in a wreck. And I walked down there, and I said, congratulations, Kevin. And I don't know Kevin that well at this point in life. And he's like, what? I said, you're getting ready to become the first human being to ever DNF as a driver and spotter in the same race. And he looked at me and
That's
busted
impressive.
out laughing.
That's impressive.
That's a good stat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was one of the first times I really told. We've been buddies ever since.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddies, I'm sure. Anyways, I know, obviously some drivers had some challenges between Front Row Motorsports, Ryan Preece and his foam fire, Christopher Bell and his third DNF. I mean,
The foam fire thing to me is baffling.
I haven't gotten a chance to talk to Ryan yet, and I don't even know if I know he didn't seem like he wanted to tell anybody what's happening. I don't think he'll tell me either because he knows I have a podcast. But
I feel like that's a consensus across the group.
But I mean, it looked like it was immediate. Like it looked like it was like I think I looked down at like lap 10 or 15, and I was like, I couldn't tell right. Like, but look, it was on a big screen there. And I was like, whose car is on fire? Is it the 41? Because you could see a Ford logo. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's the 41. Then when he drove by, I looked, and you could tell the cockpit is just full of smoke. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know what the hell's going on there. And then he went back out, and I thought they had it cleaned up. They had a pit stop. They went back out, and then that's when he came back, and then he pit and went to the garage. But that was a weird deal, yeah.
I don't know.
You can't drive because you say your hands are on fire. I can't. That's unfathomable.
Just
for
saying
me.
the steering wheel was hot, right? Like you said, like
I mean, yeah, the steering wheel was so hot his hands were on fire. I mean, they were burning so bad. That's why he had to stop driving.
Yeah, that wouldn't be enjoyable. Nothing, and I don't even know how that happens. First of all,
I don't either.
I don't know how it happens. I've had things when I drove a Goodies Ash car. They put the exhaust pipes underneath. It was up against the bottom of the chassis somehow, and it made the gear shift. The ball was glowing. So when you had to shift gears, you had to grab onto it and just like throw it.
Wow.
It was hot.
Hot ball. Hot shit.
It was hot.
Yeah. Wow.
It was hot.
Just had to add that.
you're
in.
an idiot.
Yep.
I mean, I've never heard of nothing like that.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad.
Oh, anyways, what I was getting at was which drivers do you see being on the hot seat right now? We're over 1/4 of the way from the season end.
What do you mean by hot seat?
Which
About
drivers
to get fired or ain't gonna make the
should be
playoff?
concerned about the playoffs?
Everybody that's not top 16 in points.
17th on
Listen,
that.
I haven't been a smart ass. I mean, I'm being just honest. Like
You-
it's going to get harder and harder and harder to move in the points, and it's going to become more of a stressful situation for everybody 17th on back to go for a win. And
15th.
then as that happened, 16th, 15th, 14th, 13th in points. Now they're screwed.
Yeah, right now we're 15th and out.
That's not good.
And you think it's hard to move in the points. It's not hard. If you just don't finish twice, you go from 9th to 15th in
Oh, yeah.
Real fast.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
You should start off at going into the third race in 36. That's a lot of fun
That's
too.
fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of guys that are probably already. There was a lot of guys that started the season must win because they just weren't going to point their way in. And there's just you look now. There's a pretty big gap already. I think TJ and I are 2 or 4 points
gave up 20 in
separated.
that race,
like
so.
we're 15th and 16th, and then there's like a 50-point gap behind us. That's hard
Yeah.
to make
If
up.
if we have 2 top 10s coming up, we'll probably be top 12 or say
Yeah.
because there's that group
Yeah, from like 11th to us
It's
is
close.
10 points, maybe 12 points, something like that. So I mean, there's I think if you're probably behind 17th, 18th right now, you're probably already looking at must win or getting close to it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it's such a different. I mean, after Atlanta, y'all were sitting here saying, "Oh, well, look at the front row guy." I mean, it's completely swapped.
Oh yeah.
You know, but that's just it's so hard starting the season off with 2 plate races because you don't really have a true reading of what's going to happen.
All right, well, before we head into spot on, spot off, some interesting NASCAR news coming out of last week. I know we mentioned it, the change from the track at Watkins Glen and how people were very much against it. And then Larson shows his mouthpiece from the last race and really the impact that it's had on his body. What do you guys take from that?
To me, the biggest thing to take away is sometimes you have to protect these guys from themselves. I think that's why you saw a rule about you can't ride the wall anymore, because if guys see that Ross Chastain ran 8 seconds faster than everybody else on the racetrack by riding the wall, we were going to all do it coming to Checker, and it's just not a safe thing to do.
That would be awesome.
Holy cow!
This was a move. You see, like what was happening is, getting into the bus stop, they were going so far right and just driving straight over the curb that they were basically launching in the air and then landing on entry to the bus stop and then completing the bus stop. And that's where you see this big spike. And I think it was crazy. It was like 17, 18 Gs and I'm assuming that's when he's landing, and that's massive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if anybody's ever, been in some kind of simulator where they can test it, but I mean, I don't want to test that. I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't need to black out or puke on myself.
That's like letting Lawrence Taylor just run into you. You're standing there still, and he just runs.
You might get 18 Gs when Bernard Pollard hits you when you catch that pass in the middle.
They put the problem that we had with it, I think we brought up on the show last week, we saw clear, or you had a picture of it, I think, TJ, where they had paved that, but they didn't have that big turtle or whatever you want to call it there. And I'm like, well, that sucks, because now they were reacting to the drivers having to jump it, and now they're just taking it out, we thought, because we saw the pictures, and I'm like, well, now they're doing that to protect the drivers, but it kind of sucks because they're making that corner a lot easier. Well, now they've made it a lot harder because that turtle is going to have some big effects on that race.
I wish there was an easier option.
Only thing we want, the three of us want, we all want the same thing. I know we do. We want you to have to slow down to make the corner.
I want it to be challenging.
And what we saw last week that you had on your phone was not challenging. Now Freddie says it is going to be challenging. At the end of the day, that's all we want.
Yeah, I don't need to see them landing like that, but just something that with some repercussions to the car at least, or something like look, if you get over here, it might be a little faster, but you're playing in a gray area that's going to bite you at some point.
And I felt like, not that it was easy, but years past, it was very rare to be able to see anybody go through there side by side, especially entry to that first left. And it almost made it easier to do that because you were so far right. That guy had a little bit of more lane to work with on the left.
Oh, yeah.
And you could go through it. Now, that's not going to be the case. And that's where you're going to see, I think that's what's going to make that bus stop as exciting as it used to be. Now, these guys cannot go to the right.
So what are they going to have
you
there?
What they put in there?
Yeah, I saw it.
Like, it's gigantic. It's going to destroy your car if you run it over. So I'm fine with that. But now these guys are going to be trying to force each other over there and force each other back to stay off of it.
Well,
and
that's how it used to be.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's going to make that bus stop entry exciting again. Because
or we oil it down.
I mean, listen, it looks like a spike. You know what I mean? It's like a turtle, but it comes up to a point.
It's like the Star Wars spaceship.
Yeah,
here's what I don't want. I don't want track limits that we're trying to enforce.
No.
I want, if you miss the corner, it's a stop and go. And if not, it is what it is. Are these things going to be worse or better than what we had at Indy?
I think about the same. I think if you hit this, from what I saw, if you hit this thing, you're probably done. Or at least it's going to at least wreck, spin, you're not going to be able to just jump over it like they were in the past.
Why don't we use those things like when you turn your rental car in?
The spikes.
Yeah, just use spike strips back
flat
there.
tires.
Yeah. Coming to you right fronts down.
We'd have cars stuck all over the place.
And that is why you are not the race director. Seeing a doctor when you're sick is enough to make you sick or sicker. It involves a lot of time and effort at a time when you're least equipped to provide either.
And it can expose you to other spreadable diseases. Tedoc Health is a far better alternative. It's putting humanity into healthcare.
Think about what happens when you're sick and you have to see a doctor. First, you have to schedule an appointment, which sometimes can take days or even weeks to get in.
Then you have to get to the doctor, even though you're probably feeling miserable.
Then you wait in the aptly named waiting room, exposed to whatever the people around you are coughing and spewing into the air. Oh, the humanity.
Fortunately, there is an option that is far more humane, Tedoc Health.
With Tedoc Health, you can get in touch with a doctor 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, all from the comfort of your own home.
Whatever your medical problem, just open the Tedoc app and connect with a board-certified doctor to get a diagnosis, treatment plan, prescription, or even schedule an in-person visit if needed.
Tedoc Health is not only convenient, it's affordable too, and it's covered by a surprising number of insurance plans.
Last year I had a bad cold I just couldn't get to go away, and life just kept me busy. I never got around to visiting my doctor, but if I had used Tedoc, I would have gotten the answers a lot faster.
Download the app to get started today, or go online to register or schedule a visit at telodochealth.com. That's TELADOC health.com. All right, let's kick off spot on, spot off. First topic. In his post-race interview, Kyle Larson said NASCAR should get rid of the rear view cameras to make it harder to air block, describing it as easy. And on Saturday, Kyle Busch commented how the next-gen car can be better used as a defensive tool than as an offensive tool. Lots of buzz on that next-gen car. Spot on, spot off, Freddie.
I kind of spot off for Kyle's comment just because, or Kyle Larson's comment, I should say, because, listen, aero blocking didn't just get invented this week. I'm pretty sure we were aero blocking long before they had these cameras in the car. Now, maybe it is easier now because they have such a better view of it, but these guys adapt. And if you took the cameras out, maybe I should be spot on for his comments.
I think you're yourself right here.
Maybe I should be spot on for it, because if they take the cameras out of the car, then
spotters are needed more.
Then we're more. They rely on us more. Maybe that's going to drive my salary up, Denny. So
I can't believe you took that stance. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I think Denny might have actually said he was against it because he doesn't even use it.
Well, yeah, that's what I did see his post-race comments where he said like he didn't really look in his mirror. He was, I'm assuming, relying on Lambert or just worried about his own race. But listen, I don't know. It's the product of this car, and it's what we got to deal with right now.
Right.
I think if you take the video camera out, it helps Kyle Larson as much as anybody in the field because of his background. He races without a spotter at a lot of places, and I can't help my phone's ringing.
Hit the red
button.
Hit the red button.
It is so obnoxious I can hear it from across the room.
I know, but if I flip it up, this is a telemarketer person, and if I flip it up, it makes more of them call me.
Just hit red.
No, you got to write it out.
You're an idiot. That's not
All
true.
right, I'll make the button go.
I have my one idiot for the week.
I don't want to touch my phone when that happens.
Okay.
I honestly, to Freddie's point, like I would be fine with them taking the. I was never a fan of the video camera mirror anyway. Like I don't even know why it became a thing. It's not in my passenger car, and I mean we're called the stock car auto racing for a reason.
It's actually pretty standard in passenger cars now.
Not going down the highway. Mine, I don't have one.
Most of the mirrors flip to a camera like that. If the thing in the mirror flips to like a camera.
But I was not a fan of this from the beginning, so I'm not a fan of it now. So I am spot on. I am with Kyle Larson on this. Take it out. But they're not going to take it out.
No, and I don't think they should take it out. It is what it is. Like if you do take it out, it's not going to change anything. I don't think. Do you think it? I mean,
I think it changes a little bit. The thing's so detailed and so it shows so much. Like before, the driver would tell you before races, "Hey man,
help me protect my right rear."
Yeah, I can't see over there good. Make sure you tell me. Like we've had drivers tell us that.
That's kind of my point, though. Do you think if Denny Hamlin didn't have a camera yesterday, it'd be any different of a result? I
don't think the result changes, but I think there's more opportunity throughout the race to make moves because I think the camera shows a lot more than just maybe one car behind you. I think you can tell if another guy splits or something like that. And, maybe if, he can't see, I don't know. These guys look at it a lot.
I think Bozzy actually tweeted from 2012, there were comments about mirror driving and how it's always been an issue. It's not really changing.
We're still going to tell the guys.
Like Kyle said, it's probably easier now, but it's not, if you take it out, it's not going to go away. It's just going to be.
I'm not a big fan of it. I think you should go back to some other type of mirror that's you can use, but it's challenging because I do think it does make it easier, and we don't need to make it easier.
I mean,
I don't think we need to make it easier.
I've completely changed my mind. I am spot on. Take them out because that means we'll probably get paid more. And
well, I mean, we're going to still spot like we were before. It just got easier for the drivers to make a decision in the car, which honestly, that's what you want. You want the possibility of making a mistake more for passing.
And you see the frustration of Kyle Busch after the race, and it's so understandable, and it's so hard to put into words. And Kyle Larson was probably just as frustrated because you catch a guy and Denny's doing exactly what he's supposed to do in that situation. If Kyle's that much better, he's got to do whatever he can to hold him off. All Kyle's asking for in that situation is the opportunity to be able to get to Denny. And what Kyle Busch is saying is, even if you get to Denny can defend. Saying the car's better at defense than offense just means that if Kyle Larson was somehow to get to Denny, Denny Hamlin's in control of what happens there, and what it should be is probably Kyle Larson should be in control, like we see a little bit with the Xfinity cars, where he can get up on him. Not saying he necessarily has to run into him and move him. He can affect the aero balance of his car by running up his ass or packing air on his left rear quarter. And right now, it seems like in most of the drivers' minds, the wrong guy is in control of those situations. They want it to be the guy that's faster and running him down, not so much the guy that just got caught. Now he's the one that's in control of the situation.
Yeah, you should have some sort of offensive weapon at that point. Like at the Xfinity race, we passed near the end of the race. You had the 18 and 21 racing side by side. Well, I mean, Carson drives right up to them, and he works at 21 off the bottom, and the 21 moves the other one up, and we're 3 wide off of turn 4 for the lead. Now, and it's because of the air, and he's got a weapon when he gets there. He doesn't have to, he doesn't have to. I mean, you get to the middle of the corner and you're close enough, you can make a move still. So that would be, that'd be something like they need something to play offense with a little bit.
Carson Kvapil choosing the top on a green-white checkered finish, ultimately finishing second behind Ryan Truex in the Xfinity race. TJ, this one's for you.
I'm spot on. We would probably pick the same. We would take the outside again if we did it. We started on the bottom already 2 restarts before that. And I think, we just weren't as good into one on a restart as some of these other guys. We took the bottom when we were racing for 4th off of turn 2 because they just pin you down. And let's be honest, the 21 knows exactly what he's doing in that situation. Sheldon's not going to give an inch out there. If you go into the corner and Sheldon's on your outside, you're going to have 1 car length and 6 inches. And Carson, with only being a second race, is still a little timid in them situations. And honestly, with the 21 restarting on the inside of us and losing it, he was probably a little more timid. That could be him driving in there and hitting a guy in the door and spinning out. We had a good restart. Ryan just did a really good job of driving it deep into the corner and getting even with us to have position. And if we get into that corner just a little bit harder with and we can keep our left front in front of his right front, we've got control of it at that point. But Ryan did a really good job of driving down in there and establishing that, and we raced into 3, and he just kind of washed us up because he had position on us still. So Carson drove a phenomenal race. He looked like he had been racing. It's his 5th year in the Xfinity Series, as smart as he drove that race. So really great job by him. Even he did nail the restart at the end. Just some guys, a little more track time, a little more experience. They're a little more comfortable with the car. If we don't get one of them late cautions, I think he wins the race. So
yeah, it's tough to ever give up the bottom on a green-white checker. I think you almost never want to do it. But to TJ's point, if you can't restart down there, you don't have a choice. But then you just have to realize that now you've just put yourself at the mercy of that guy in the bottom. And we saw it, the restart before.
Well, we felt it.
Yeah, Austin. And I think at the same time, Austin Hill did a good job of
wrecking himself
to not wreck the whole field. But that you already saw. You got the blueprint right there of what's probably going to happen on this next one. And luckily Ryan did a good job where he just got in there, and like TJ said, Ryan put himself in position where he controlled everybody's destiny when they got down to 3. But to TJ's point, Carson, I thought did a really good job. He started deep and wasn't in a hurry, kind of just worked his way through there. But I'll let you comment on the restart before I comment on the Xfinity race anymore.
I'd listen to me. TJ was obviously a player in the game on the restart. You just gave your perspective. I don't have anything else to add in terms of him picking the top. Just what a phenomenal product it was on the race. Just a great race all day.
The reason why he was in position to pick the top is because, my God, did the 0 and 7 fumble the ball in this race. I thought, like,
A bunch of them, not just those two.
Well, I mean, there's a handful, but those two I thought were the class of the field all day. And then you get the rain shower that, like,
not even a
think,
shower.
I think, and yeah, I mean, it was not. Yeah, it was very lightly.
They didn't
raining.
even dry the track.
Yeah, they never put the dryers out there.
Well, and TV, you could see, you know how it is on TV, man. You could see really good, right? But you could see a couple raindrops hitting the camera. But when that started, it put you guys in a big cat and mouse game on who's pitting, who ain't.
So I think NASCAR's done a pretty good job in the recent years of saying, listen, we're going to hold the pit road opening until we're pretty sure we're going to go back racing. They're not just going to, they're not trying to catch anybody out. They're just trying, they're going to, if they have a feeling like they're going to go back green, they'll do a cycle. And when you hear pit roads open, that should be a trigger to you, like, okay, they intend on restarting this thing.
And you could use the radar.
Yeah, like
My radar showed just a little tiny bit, like it wasn't going to be there for a long time.
And it wasn't going to be heavy. It was never going to be heavy, I don't think. And what I thought was weird was, I apologize because I don't know who it is, but the 00's crew chief, I mean, when the yellow comes out, they're celebrating on the box like they just won the race. And I'm like, man, I don't see that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's looking at versus what I'm looking at. And even like one of the guys on our team, and this is at Ryan Sieg Racing, not belittling them, but it's not. I'm sure they don't have all the tools that Stewart Haas Racing does. He comes on our radio. He's like, hey, I don't know. We were the last car on the lead lap, so we were, we could stay out and come in whenever we wanted. He's like, listen, they're gonna restart. The rain's not that bad. So if our guys know that, like, how do you not know that? So when they come down, they come around and the pit road's open, and them guys stay out, and I know they can't make it to the end. There's only 60 to go, 70
like
to
10
go.
laps or so left to fuel anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, you're just banking on this with the two best race cars in the field. I just thought that was a really big mistake on their part, and then that just jumbled the whole field. But I didn't understand that at all.
I think that's the two best drivers in the field at that particular moment at that particular racetrack. But shout out to Justin Allgaier, massive hit the week before. I mean, a gut-wrenching hit, and to come back out, it just shows you these guys aren't wired normal.
Yeah.
His hit at Talladega was pretty big.
That wall, like, I don't know where it is. No matter where it is, we find that wall.
Yeah,
every
the one
time.
section.
The one that's just like, and they got it like that so the cleanup truck can drive out easily.
And they fixed it. Like, it's actually not even bad, but we always find the one spot where it's a little bit worse, it seems like. But no, Justin did a really good job. Cole was really fast. Really, really fun race. I mean, it was a good race.
I've seen drivers over the years take massive hits like that and come back the next week and not even be seen on the lead lap because it takes them a minute to get over it. So talk about, kahunas of steel.
And it's probably good for Justin. I mean, that's if it's that or Phoenix are probably Justin's best racetracks. I mean, Justin is phenomenal at
You'd have been losing your head at Justin at one point in that race, just so you know. Oh, yeah.
Why?
Whenever they were trying to – so we pitted. Everybody pit. And then we chose because we're getting ready to go back green, and then it picked up just a little bit again, so they bring us down pit road, kept us double file on pit road because we've already chose. Yeah. Well, then we come back out, and the other guys at the 00 pits from the outside lane, and Justin thinks he wants
to pick.
He wants to re-choose.
They were 3 wide coming to the green.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and they're hollering at him, but it's always been that way. You don't ever re-choose, and you're the leader. You have you're controlling the restart, which he did a good job controlling it as well, I thought, but you don't ever re-choose.
Yeah,
I thought two things interesting happened there. One, which a rule I learned about yesterday was, if it got called there, the lineup would be set. The finish would be based off of before the choose. So they're like, if you went from fifth to fourth or something like that, you would go back to fifth. But there was one, and Bob's gonna have to text me or me and Brett tomorrow, like he normally does. So them guys are low on fuel, and we're riding around. And there was a couple times where I thought they drove below the commitment line. One time for sure. I'm pretty sure the 7 was all 4 below it. And there was no penalty given. And then I heard conflicting reports that if you're saving fuel, maybe that's okay, or they said it was close, but they reviewed it. So I'm going to need Bob or somebody to verify what the rule is in that scenario. But it looked very close, and I thought he was 4 wheels under at one point. Maybe I could be wrong. If I have to see a video of it.
There's numerous people that thought that.
But yeah, it was interesting to see that as they're rolling around in the apron trying to save fuel.
Continuing on, spot on, spot off. It's time to hit the panic button for Ford as they are still winless 11 races into the season. Brett.
I'm going to give you a stat, Casey, that's going to help you with your DBC picks. Here's the stat for Kansas. Toyota has won all 4 races with this car at Kansas. Ford has led a total of 45 laps of the 1,069 laps that have been run. So you're going into the 12th race of the season, and it doesn't look promising that you're going to compete for this win. So 12 races is 1/3 of the schedule. They've got to turn it around, and they've got to turn it around fast. And I know that they can get hot at any point in time. We've talked about Blaney being in a good spot, but this isn't just about one driver in their camp being relevant. All of their teams. I looked yesterday. Blaney was the only guy inside of the top 10 for the most part for the majority of the race. They've got to steer the ship in the right direction. And I don't know what it's going to take. Obviously, if they knew what it was going to take, they'd fix it. But this Mustang has not lived up to the hype.
Freddie.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they would love to be in victory lane right now, and we talk about Ford panicking. I don't know that Ford's the only one that needs to panic. I think maybe everybody that's not in a JRM or an HMS car probably needs to panic because maybe
He didn't mean JRM.
I was about to say JGR.
He meant JGR.
HMS. Sorry, they've won every non-drafting track this year. So, I mean, obviously Ford wants to be better, but should you be more concerned if you're a team like Trackhouse and Legacy, who's running the same manufacturer, technically supposed to be the same car as HMS and JGR, and you're not performing? You're not in contention. We talk about the Ford's not in contention. I mean, Daniel won Atlanta, drafting track. Congratulations to him. But, I don't remember them guys being, Ross hasn't been up there really in the mix, maybe a couple races here and there, but not showing great speed. Daniel hasn't showed great speed. The legacy cars, they're kind of, mid-pack at best. So I don't know. I mean, Ford has to be worried, and so does, I think, everybody that's not in those two organizations. Our 2311 is basically they're running very similar cars to what JGR has, and we've shown speed and kind of match theirs, but we're not winning the races. They are. So even we should be a little concerned with that, but these two organizations are dominating the sport right now, and I mean, I know Ford needs to be better, but I mean, everybody should be in a little bit of panic mode right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's panic mode yet. I think with the new car, you're always evolving it and still working on it. You always want to be faster. Even if we had 4 wins right now, we still want to be faster. I mean, it's never going to change. I think we're getting closer. I think we're, I think our car was a top 10 car last week. Obviously, plate races, we've been really we don't have the wins, but we very easily could have won Daytona. We very easily could have won Talladega, Atlanta. We were fast. Blaney almost won as well. I don't think it's time to panic. I just think we have a lot of smart people, and they're always, they're working to make the car better every week. And I do see gains in it. Like Freddie said, this week, I mean, we didn't qualify where we wanted to qualify, but in the race, we were able to make moves and pass, and we were inside the top 15, and I do think we would have finished inside the top 10. But, I mean, you just got to keep working, man. I mean, we've been in this position before.
It's a great run of races. I mean, obviously, you just left over, going to Kansas, going to Darlington, going to Charlotte. North Wilkesboro is what it is. I mean, we can't really count that one in the run of races because it's an exhibition race, but this is a great run of tracks to find out who's fast, and we know 2 of the teams that are, and Freddie's right, the other teams better catch up.
Moving on, this might be my favorite quote ever from Brad, but Brad Keselowski said the following on Eric Jones having to watch someone else drive his car. I've never seen somebody sleep with my wife, but I'd imagine that'd be what it's like. I'm afraid to hear Brett's response, but we will start with you.
Man, he must love his car a hell of a lot. It's a great quote.
I mean,
Brad's been hanging around me too long.
It's an amazing analogy.
It's a great quote, but man, I've never.
You just got to be careful here because I mean,
you think?
I mean, some people kind of enjoy that kind of thing. So you're saying I don't know if you're.
I mean,
Freddie, you're egging him on.
I'm just saying, is it a good thing, a bad thing? I don't know what he's really getting at here.
I mean, some people are into this kind of thing.
Is it funny or is it bad? Like,
I mean, sometimes there's a car with a lot of people riding in the car. It ain't just the driver. You know,
I thought it was
people in the back seats.
I thought it was pretty funny. People started coming up behind the roof and one of the breaks we had up there, and we're like, "Hey, did Brad really say this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh gosh."
And that's like, I feel like that's the last person you expect that quote
I did
to
not
come from.
expect
You know what
that.
I
I
mean?
didn't expect
Like that's
that.
like a Denny quote, or so. You know what I mean?
So I got a question for y'all. This
Don't if it's
No, I'm
it.
serious. So it's always been rumored to me that
Oh,
people
God.
in my neighborhood, if they have white rocks around their mailboxes, they're swingers.
Where do you live?
Is that right?
The only one I heard.
y'all ever heard that?
I've never heard the White Rocks thing. I've heard something about some pineapples, and
I've heard pineapples on your shirts and stuff.
yeah. I've heard that's a sign, and now I feel bad because some
Brad,
guy
which house is yours?
some
With the white rocks.
I got the White Rocks and the pineapple hanging from my door. Now it's weird because so I didn't know this, and somebody else told me, and I can't tell you the story on here why I know this, but
Please tell us.
it's funny.
I want out of here.
But so now somebody had told me this. I think it's supposed to be like an upside down pineapple. I think is what it is.
Oh.
But so now I see people that got like pineapple tattoos, and I'm like,
Oh,
do you like? Are you
Committed.
tropical? Like,
is that what you got in Key West?
Somebody, the person the story relates to is somebody who's like, I said, you got a pineapple thing here, and they're like, oh yeah, he's from Florida. I go, yeah, I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the deal. But so, anyway,
well, Casey, from a girl's point of view, what do you think about the quote? Would it upset you? I mean, it's not. He said it's like a
wouldn't
backwards.
upset
I seen Eric on Saturday, and I was like, so is Brad right? Like, you watched practice today? How'd that feel?
I would not be upset. I don't think, but I also have not thought about it.
You already
so
talk about how much Chad loves his cars more than you anyway.
this is valid.
That's
All
actually
right,
a valid
let's
point.
shift back. What do you think of Eric Jones? I saw him at the track this weekend. He did look like he was in great spirits, and Corey Heim had a great run. Freddie, what do you think about the circumstances? We don't know when Eric will be back.
So I think the biggest thing to realize was we were going to Dover. And Eric, obviously, from what I understand, I don't know, can't really get too much into it, but he had a back injury it's more, they were keeping him out of the car more for preventative moving forward. Like he wasn't he was walking around with us on Saturday night, and he seems fine. It's just a concern, especially at a place like Dover where you're getting thrown down into the corner, kind of getting thrown down into the seat. So that was a place where you probably didn't need to go. I know, talking to Eric, he's working to get back as soon as he can. He's hoping to be back this week. I don't know if he will be back this week or not. But, I think the place we were going played more of a role into him getting out of the car versus, him actually being unable to drive. I think it was just more of a concern about, potentially doing more damage.
Yeah, to me, Eric needs to get 100% before he comes back. That's just something, you don't mess with, in my opinion. You just get 100% and then come back. Your car is going to be there waiting for you, ready for you to get back in it. And, not to mention, you want to be able to give 100% too. And if you're out there and you're hurting still a little bit, and these cars are flying through the corners. And I'm sure, bumps would probably aggravate it. I mean, back injuries can't be fun. But I don't, like you said, you see him walking around, it looks fine, but man, just get 100% and come back. We need 100% Eric Jones.
And shout out to Corey Heim. I thought Corey did a really good job this weekend. He kind of quiet race. I mean, he ran. I think he finished 25th. He showed decent speed. Was not a problem for us. I mean, I don't know that we ever lapped him. I don't think he got back to us at all. But I didn't hear anybody complaining about him. That's all you ask for when you're a rookie, your first race. If you can go out there and run well and not really have anybody realize you're out there, that's a successful day for me.
For sure. And this just goes across all the series too. Like, even looking at Carson, like when he runs that Xfinity car, we talked about it Fort Martinsville. Like, you have a chance to go out here and set the tone on what you're going to look like as a driver with these other people. And he's been very respectful to everybody.
We talked about it earlier too. Like, Dover exposes
Laws.
Yeah. We talk about the exits of the corners, how tough they are. And when you're lapping guys, they're going to show you their true colors there, because this is a place where if you should be like Brad did. Brad was off the pace at the end of the race, was never a problem. The rest, once you saw, like you knew you were coming, you knew where he was. The biggest thing.
I was spotting harder.
Yeah,
the second half of the race.
The two biggest things when you caught Brad was what lane he's going to be in. You know he's going to give you the exit of the corner, so you don't even have to call it close. You just know he's going to give it to you.
Yeah,
like this is a place where you need the lap cars to give you the exit of the corner, or else it's going to screw you up for a half a lap or more. So you could see the guys that have respect for each other, and then the guys that just want to race and be idiots. And then you just this is a place where you can expose them and circle them for later on in the year whenever you need to return the favor.
Let's move on to Reaction Theater.
Now it's time for your favorite part and my favorite part of the show, Reaction Theater, where fans get to call in and be heard. And shout out to our sponsor, Consumer Cellular, for bringing this segment to you guys.
Yeah, Consumer Cellular has fast, reliable, nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. Let's go to the calls.
We all know Denny's great.
Yep.
But Dale Jr. is pretty good, too, especially when he's putting people like Bubba Pollard, Carson Kvapil, and the Xfinity Series, and they're running great. Could you imagine Travis Kvapil sitting up on a hauler thinking that his kid has a chance to win in his second ever start? Dude, that kid's fire. Just like Connor Zillage, he is going to be the best next short track racer that we have ever seen. Carson Kvapil, mark our words, this day, today.
I would have thought that was one of Carson's cousins, but he can't say Kvapil right.
No,
so.
That definitely was not a relative.
Yeah, he loves Kvapil.
He does love Carson Kvapil.
He should love Carson Kvapil too. Yeah.
Kaz Gurala.
They interviewed Carson's dad in between some of the restarts, and he was pretty chill, man. Like he was not pumped up. He was like, man, we've been here, done that, just not on this stage with this level of competition. And I thought he managed it well. I was once again impressed, and at some point, somebody's got to look around in the building and go, how are we going to get this guy full time?
Well, today's my birthday. I turned 31.
Happy birthday.
And Denny Hamlin won. You.
I got a feeling he was giving him the 11s.
Wow. I have a feeling he probably was too.
Wow.
Just leaving Dover, my entire experience, I was within arm reach of Jeff Gluck, Michael McDowell, Jimmy Johnson, Mark Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, William Byron. You name me another sport where you can get that kind of access to the athlete. You're not going to find it. Not happening.
He just called Jeff Gluck an athlete.
Jeff, congratulations, Jeff. You are now an athlete. First time in forever.
I'll tell you, and Brett will probably agree with this for once. Having the casino and hotel right there at the racetrack and that accessible, that's a big plus.
You think that's a good idea?
I think it's a phenomenal.
I would disagree with you.
Well, I'm saying for access for fans because we ate dinner over there and
the Sugar Factory still in there?
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Everyone goes there, then you go there. So
Carousel bar.
Michelle's is still there?
No,
Oh.
it's
It's something else.
Prime,
The steakhouse is still there, but it's
called something else. But everyone, everyone goes over there.
My favorite Dover days and years, and they're listeners that have been there for this, the Sheraton.
I knew you were going to say it.
Then the lobby house kind of took over
Did you
after
ever
the Sheraton
experience
got
the
on
Sheraton?
fire.
It's probably safer.
Probably-
than
probably-
It was
Yeah.
the Dutch Inn times 100.
And here's what I will tell fans. And you saw Saturday night we were in that. There's a bar right there in the center of the casino, and listen, the guys are in there hanging out. Drivers are in there. There's guys in there
Everybody.
Saturday night. And the one thing I will say is, they don't mind take a picture, say hi. Don't try to be their best friend because there's some guys I seen and they were drunk, so I got to give them a break. But it's then they wanted to hang out and then never leave, and it's okay, just take your picture and say hi. They're more than welcome. They're more than welcoming, but they probably go ahead and move on after
You
that.
probably see 60%, maybe 50, 60% of the drivers there at some point.
Between dinner and gambling, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but that's the sport. It's true. Like at an NFL game, you don't really get the same access. So that is one thing that NASCAR
TJ does. He gets Stefan Diggs to wave
That
at him.
is true. I forgot about that. To
Not
be
anymore.
On his shoulder, he got traded.
Not
him.
anymore, yeah.
I know, but I just know how
We don't
excited
talk
you
about
got.
that either.
Holy Moses on a rocket-powered pogo stick. Denny Hamlin wins the race.
I'm about to go suck some toes.
What?
Suck some toes?
Why?
He's definitely got white rocks in his mailbox.
He was wearing an upside down pineapple when he said,
Dude, that's really.
what the hell did
I
he say?
had
Toe
no-
sucker, you.
Denny, you bring out the best in them.
Yeah, I had no idea Rex Ryan was a race fan.
You think that was the same guy that was shaving his wife's back last week?
It was waxing.
Waxing his wife's back? I thought he said shaving her back.
I don't even know what to think.
So I was scrolling through Twitter, as I do, and I started getting all these notifications. Heard you on DBC today. Heard your name on DBC today. Heard them bring you up on DBC today. So I had to go listen. And I proceeded to hear my name get brought up on DBC, and I hear Freddie say, I think he'll come to the show. I don't know. But, I got to thinking, I don't know that I need to buy a plane ticket, come to Charlotte on a Monday to record on DBC when you guys are just talking about me without me being there. That's free publicity, in my opinion. And, I don't know that I need to come.
So that was, for anybody who doesn't know, that was Drew Parker.
Yeah. And we've made him famous now.
We've now made him famous. You're welcome. Drew he texted us yesterday that people in his meet and greet at his show were talking about DBC. So he realized how big the DBC army was this week. So we shout out to all you guys, but we are trying to get Drew in here, but he's too
just
busy
getting too
for
big.
us.
Yeah. So, not to blow his head up anymore. He said he did play in front of the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of, which was 85,000 people this last week. I don't know where it was.
Wherever
sure
Luke
it
Combs
was probably
was,
where
where
Luke,
he's at.
right?
It was biggest for Luke too, I think he said, as well. So
Some of them, I went to a Garth Stadium tour. I don't even remember. It was Gainesville. What's Gainesville like? It's probably
It's 80,000.
And there was
a swamp.
I mean, it was. You don't know. The atmosphere is unbelievable.
yeah, that's pretty cool though.
for
85,000
sure.
people, that's a lot.
Well, just like Drew, you can call our number 704-802-9572 to let us know what you think. We will be sure to keep picking the best ones. Moving on to Ask DBC. Another way to get a hold of us is by using hashtag AskDBC on X. This first one is from AJ. There was a picture floating around on social media of Byron fans heading for the exits after he wrecked out. Are fans who leave sporting events early dedicated? I can't imagine spending all that money and just dip because my guy was in the wreck.
Well, I left too.
For different reasons.
You fair weather.
You didn't stay and support Nick?
No, especially not after that.
Casey, I drove to Darlington Racetrack in, I think, 1997. And I just have two of my wisdom teeth taken out. And Dale Earnhardt, very, very, very early in the race, had a problem. And he, blacked out inside of the car. And he rode the wall for a lap or so, and then he came down pit road, and he got out of the car. And they put Mike Dillon in the car to finish the race. And I packed up my cooler, and I went to the house. Listen, I grew up a huge race fan, but my favorite driver at that particular time had fallen out of the race. I didn't really have a second favorite driver, and I wasn't going to stick around there and live in 100-degree heat to watch my guy not be out there. So I can relate to those fans that leave early. I'm also a Gamecock fan, and we get blown out a lot. And we've never lost a tailgate, but I've left at a lot of half times.
Yeah, and we did this. We went to an Alabama game. I don't know how many years ago that was. On a Saturday, we had a rare Saturday off.
7 or 8 years ago.
We had a Saturday off.
I remember that
in Talladega, and we all took off to the Alabama game. And whoever gave us the tickets forgot to tell us that they were on the visitor's sideline. And one thing you never want to do in Alabama is sit on the visitor's sideline because it is, I don't know, I'd say the surface of the sun hot. So and it just bakes in the sun. So we went, and me and Brett were sitting next to each other, and you can't really bring alcohol in there. You can't buy alcohol, so that was kind of a downer.
Allegedly.
You can bring, but you can only bring so many mini bottles.
They must have really liked you.
Once they ran out, once those kind of disappeared that we allegedly might have had on us, it was probably the first quarter, or maybe into the second quarter, and we just looked at each other, and the game sucked. Like Alabama was probably blowing somebody out or something. Tennessee, and we left. But what we didn't do was go home. We just went to a bar to watch the game.
Remember who we ran into in the parking lot?
Yeah, so we're walking around. There's nobody. It's a ghost town because the game is second quarter, middle of the second quarter. So there's nobody outside. It's literally just me and Brett, maybe some couple stragglers. And this door swings open, and this guy comes out of the door, and I look at Brett, and I'm like,
Heisman Trophy winner.
I said, Brett, is that Desmond Howard? He's like, nah. Yeah, that is him. So then Brett's hitting him with the Heisman pose, and we took some pictures with him. But it was just
You're
random,
that
like,
obnoxious fan you were talking about in the casino.
You can take pictures and say hi, then you leave.
Yeah, I didn't follow him to the trailer.
Yeah,
Trying to be his buddy.
But it was funny that we're just three people walking around the stadium. It's me, Brett, and Desmond Howard. But then we went into a bar and enjoyed the rest of the game from there. But yeah, I don't have a problem. Like, you see this all the time. Your team gets blown out, you leave the game. You're trying to beat traffic.
I am not going to sit in there and be miserable and watch my team get the balls beat off of them. It ain't going to happen. TJ, you sticking around for a Bills blowout?
Nah.
Is it only if they're getting blown out, though? Like, if they're blowing the team out, will you stay?
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
I was there for the last time they played the
Especially
Jets.
if I'm on the over.
If they played the Jets and we stayed pretty much till the very end, it's a lot of fun when that's happening. But when I lived up there, I'm going home. But since I only go to like a game every year or two now, even if they're getting kind of blown out, I mean, you probably stay as much as you can, but it's not fun.
My sister is of the belief that you should stay for the whole game no matter what, because you're basically being a fair weather fan if you leave. I am not the same.
It's if there was no traffic, if traffic in the world didn't exist in the world, I would stay.
Well, the guy's like, who spends all that money to leave?
I will.
Yeah.
In there before I moved to North Carolina in the late '90s. I've left a lot of Bills games early. So
this next one is from Nathan. With the NFL draft this past weekend, who would you guys draft to build your own race team?
What are we drafting?
Yeah,
drivers.
A race
Drivers?
team?
Yeah.
I just said that.
So we're drafting drivers.
Yes.
I mean, if it's me, I'm just gonna if I want to be like the Bills, I'm just gonna trade back twice.
Just trade me your pick and trade me your pick.
Ruin my Thursday night. That
TJ watched the whole draft Thursday night, and the Bills traded Thursday night was just the first
they had
round.
like the 28th pick,
And he watched the whole thing, and they traded twice and got out of the first round.
it was like miserable. I'm like, at least draft a. I almost swore right there.
Hey,
Give me a kicker or a punter. I don't care. Somebody.
We'll do something fast. We'll do a mock draft. We'll draft 3 drivers each. You can't draft the same one twice. See who has the best team. How do we determine, Alex, who gets to draft first?
How do you determine who's eligible?
What do you mean?
Current driver?
Who's eligible?
Current
drivers.
This is talking about like up and coming. We're not talking Kyle Larson.
It could be somebody in the truck series.
Yeah, this is they're talking prospects.
Okay.
I mean, but how do you determine?
But you got to run Cup this year.
What?
No. That's the whole point. Is not running Cup.
Any driver in contention.
Like Connor Zilic would be the number 1 pick. Is what we're getting at here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which would
I think that would be there. So go ahead if you want to pick. Just go around.
I don't think you got to pick 3 of them.
Just pick.
All right, I'll take Connor.
Okay.
I'll take Chandler Smith.
Chandler Smith doesn't count. Because he's already there. We're talking about
so he's got to be in trucks or not in anything?
Prospects. He's not. I mean, you could take him, I guess.
I'll take Brent Cruz.
For the Cup
Brent
Series.
Cruz is a great pick.
I agree.
I'd take Corey Day.
I'd take Carson Kvapil.
I thought he's already there.
He's
he could
not full time.
A couple starts, like Zilic has made starts, like not somebody that's full time for years. Technically, I guess
I'll take SVG. He's 38 years old, but he ain't there yet.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of running.
Because we're going to run some road courses.
Blake, who I got in the Cars Tour?
Hey, I'll be helping pick your draft. You can't be reaching out.
I got my scout over here.
Corey Day's a solid pick, though.
Corey Day,
He's
I
winning
think Corey
everything.
Day.
Who's your second pick? Come on.
I think Corey Day is
That was the second
the next Kyle Larson. I think that was my first pick.
That was his first pick, yeah.
You know who I'll take? I'll take Jade Avedisian.
I'll take, who's that kid that won the Chili Bowl that I always preach about?
Logan Seavey?
Yeah, I'll take Seavey.
Damn, that's who I was going to take.
Oh, should have traded up.
I think regardless, the point of this whole thing is there's a bunch of them coming.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing, I think Connor Zilic would be the overall number 1. But that Corey Day kid, if you don't follow dirt racing, like you're getting ready to hear this kid's name a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon. Well, it's time for Freddie's favorite topic. What an idiot.
I don't remember who I had this week.
You just talked about it.
Whose phone fell off the rail?
Is that yesterday?
And no, it didn't bounce. It just rolled onto the edge, but it got
I
like
don't know. I didn't see it.
It was the clip and everything.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it was close.
That's panic mode set in.
I was panicking. It wasn't even me. Yeah.
Who you got?
Nobody lost a bunch of money at the casino this weekend?
No, thank God.
Didn't
Indy-
I did. I lost a bunch of money. It was just a par.
The IndyCar race, whoever dropped the
mannequin.
at the IndyCar
Yeah.
race might be a
Shout
top.
out-
Are we
Shout
sure it was a mannequin?
It's definitely a mannequin because it got hit.
Yeah. Shout out to Scotty Mack for winning that and then taking a picture with the mannequin after the race was over. I thought that was great.
I'd probably keep the mannequin.
One of my favorite ones yesterday was did you see the video of Larry Mack with Mitch camera 9?
Oh, Mitch has got a
Mitch,
good.
Mitch got caught. Did you see this?
No.
So how they cut the Larry Mack in the studio, and behind Larry Mack is Fox feeds, and it's
All
over
their
here.
angles.
All here to the left is all their cameras,
Yeah.
and it's listed like camera 1, camera 2, whatever. So they get the bottom right of all the cameras. It says 9 Mitch, and Larry's doing whatever Larry's doing. I didn't listen to it, but they show Mitch, whoever Mitch is, God bless him.
The Godfather.
He is just on the crowd, like a wide angle of the crowd. And then he just zooms in on these 3 rather good-looking young ladies.
Mitch does?
And then, yes.
Yeah.
And then zooms right back out. And somebody's like, I think Barstool was the one
They
I
did.
seen.
Barstool tweeted
was
it.
like, no, don't be calling Mitch out. Like, it's all right for Mitch to get a little sneak peek.
I just sent it in the group meet if you want to watch it, Brett.
Dude.
The timing of it was phenomenal.
What you doing, Mitch?
What are you doing, Mitch?
I don't think Mitch knew his camera was hot.
Oh, Mitch probably knew his game.
Should we give Landon Castle one idiot for saying to get rid of his
Yes.
phone?
Oh God.
Yeah, I tweeted him last night. He's an idiot.
Well,
While you're looking for it, I'll tell you who on the opposite side of what it did was Carson Kvapil's team on
Kvapil.
Friday. Did you see that deal where it was Carson, right? Where they took the pit sign and bolted it to the right rear quarter panel to get him back out there?
Dude, that was awesome.
That's what I said.
That's innovative.
That's what a genius.
Dude, that was
segment.
cool. When I saw them, I'm like, what is that? Oh, that's awesome.
Scott Tapley is a buddy of mine. He said that happened back in the day. I forget what track he said it was at, but they knocked a spoiler off of Kelly Moore's car and they took the pit sign and built a makeshift spoiler out of it. So that's not the first time it's happened, but that was I was looking at it on Twitter, watching on Twitter, and I seen a picture. I'm like, what are they doing? And I was like,
Yeah.
they took a pit sign and bolted it to the right rear quarter panel.
Thank gosh they got something back on the right rear because that car would have been a handful
Yeah.
if it didn't have a right rear quarter panel.
That's what Herm said to me after Justin got the fence there when Austin Hill wrecked. And Justin basically knocked the spoiler off his car and knocked the right rear quarter panel off. And Herm looked at me, he's like, what's the 7 going to do here? I said, probably spin out if I had to guess. And sure enough, off of 4, he lost it. In fact,
Yeah, we didn't need them cautions, by the way.
Yeah, no
we
kidding.
didn't need them cautions.
moving on to DBC picks.
Good pick, Brett. Appreciate you.
Yes. Shout out to Freddie winning with Larson.
You're welcome.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks. I was
we
a little
are
under the weather last week. I didn't need to.
We are taking picks for Kansas. And
Once again, this is the worst words in golf, Casey. It's still your turn.
I won last week. Don't be rude.
You won last week?
I did.
You got the win?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Talladega.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I will.
Remember what I told you earlier. I need you to win right
I know. I'll take Reddick.
here. Oh, is Reddick available? Let's make sure we don't get DQ'd here.
No, don't
Yeah.
tell her because if she
She's
does
got-
it twice.
Yeah, I
Reddick's
have
available.
it.
Okay.
Brett, who do you have?
I'm going to go with, man, let's see. This is a tough one. Who's in the 51 this week?
51's always Justin Haley.
What about the 15?
I would assume Kaz, but it could be.
Kaz.
Oh no, it's. I think it's Riley
Riley Hurts.
because Joel's spotting. I think.
Maybe.
I know Ford sucks there, but ain't nowhere else I'm going to pick Riley Hurts. So I'm going to go with Riley Hurts.
Oh, laying up this week.
Big time. But I'm taking a fast car.
TJ.
I'm sorry. You're probably gonna DNF again. I'm taking Bubba.
Thanks, Dan.
I almost picked him, but he was in the Xfinity car last week, and I just.
Speaking of DNFs, this guy is gonna have to turn it around. I'll take Christopher Bell.
Y'all went Toyota. At least y'all listen.
He has been turned around a lot this
Thanks,
year.
thanks to our buddy Trey. Y'all
I mean,
been
he's
nuts.
had the last 3 weeks. It's like he got caught in our mess yesterday. Got run over at Talladega. The wheel fell off at Texas. Like, I hope he's out there. I don't know, picking out horseshoes or something.
What? Okay.
It's good
Anyways,
luck, Casey. Jeez.
Looking ahead to the next few weeks before we chat Kansas, the NFL, there was a comment made around the start of next season, potentially wanting to go to 18 games. So they also would like to start the season on a weekend where they have a Monday off, which would be Daytona 500 race weekend. What do you all think about that potential move?
I think that means the Daytona 500 moves. I don't know when
But
or
does
where.
it move forward or does it move back?
I have no idea.
Probably forward.
It ain't
if I had
going
to
to move
say.
back toward Christmas, in my opinion.
Back. Wait.
Because what are you
wait.
going to do? Have a Daytona 500 and then what? What are you going to do on Super Bowl Sunday if NASCAR
Hey,
season's
whoa.
active?
You've always preached
And they've
we
never
should
listened.
have that we should have the Daytona 500.
Yep.
And then an off week.
I agree. But are you going to have the Daytona 500 and then have an off week? We've never done it.
We might now.
But kind of the whole landing,
knows?
Landing point of the Daytona 500 was on that, President's Day weekend. That was kind of the thing. So unfortunately, Casey, I think does it really matter if it's the next weekend?
What I can tell you will not happen is we will not race the same day as the Super Bowl. Right?
Here's the number. There's a million reasons why I could tell you I'd love to have a week off after the Daytona 500. One of them is because if it rains on the day of the Daytona 500, I'd almost see them rather see them do it the next Sunday, so that our ratings aren't in the tank because we're racing on a Monday afternoon. And obviously it could rain the next Sunday too. But I'm a huge fan of racing the Daytona 500, giving that team, give the industry, give media an opportunity to celebrate that for the extra week.
Would
Get the
there
publicity.
be, and that's such a, I don't think I would like this, and we don't ever see good numbers, but would there be an audience for the Daytona 500 on Saturday night, Super Bowl weekend?
Man, listen, there's a lot of national championships in college football that kill it. Even look at college basketball. The women's college basketball game.
It's a Monday.
It was on
When was
Sunday,
it?
but
Was
they
it-
got 20 million
Men's
people
is Monday.
on a Sunday night. But you could run the Daytona 500 at 7:30 on Sunday night after the Super Bowl because Super Bowl is usually like a 2:00 kick.
No, it's not.
No,
Is it
ain't.
later?
It's much
Yes.
Yeah, man.
It's like a
it's
six-
like
it's like a
it's
6
right when you
o'clock
just
kick.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we ain't
wonder I
running
feel
it
like
after
the next day. I don't remember what time the game started.
We are not running it after the Super Bowl.
Listen,
Midnight,
for
going green.
for the industry, Casey, it would probably suck because it's probably going to vacuum out an off weekend that might be there. But because we shouldn't go any later in the year.
Right.
We're already going. We've been trending toward not going as far as we were in the past, which I was a fan of, because then you get into competing with the NFL even more.
Yeah.
Fair.
Holiday season too.
The answer is we don't have any answers until the NFL.
The only answer we have is they're not going to run Super Bowl Sunday.
I will tell you this, man. I remember being in Vegas for a test, watching the Super Bowl. Remember
I
that?
bet that wasn't fun.
We were literally.
That was terrible.
It was. We remember. Were you there for
I
that?
went every year for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the test. I just flew.
It was
out
an
to the Super Bowl.
Xfinity.
That's a true story.
You know what? No. It might have been the race. I can't even
It
remember.
definitely wasn't a race.
Difference in priorities here.
I didn't go to the Vegas test. I went to the Super Bowl in Vegas.
I 100% believe it.
Yeah,
100%.
It was good to have rich friends.
Oh, and then yesterday, Kyle
But
Larson.
let me back up one second. Could Fox even want to do the Super Bowl? Because don't they still have the Super Bowl and the Daytona 500?
I don't know. Yeah,
Super Bowl's like once every 3 years for them because it
Is
rotates.
it? So,
yeah,
it, so
yeah.
it rotates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that obviously could be a challenge
Damn,
too.
coming with the knowledge, Alex.
Yeah. I feel like they do use the same somewhat equipment or something like that too, so there might be a conflict there.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Casey.
No, all good. Even sooner, Larson announced yesterday during Dover pre-race that Kevin Harvick will be coming out of retirement to fill in for him for practice and qualifying for the All-Star race, while Larson is practicing for the Indy 500. What do y'all think about that one?
Yeah, I saw some people giving pushback to Larson about not practicing.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Did y'all watch the race last year?
And
The less practice he gets, the better.
And he needs to be focused on going whatever it's going to be, some crazy number of 230 miles an hour, and not worried about
Yeah.
getting back for practice. Yeah, why wouldn't you call that closer off the bench? That's what you do. You call the closer out of the bullpen, and Kevin. He's got to be the best available guy to get feedback wise. So
He's
smart
fresh
move all
out of the
around.
car still, honestly.
Part of me wishes it wasn't Kevin Harvick because, if you're in the junior motorsports, Hendrick Motorsports pipeline, and they don't pick you to go practice the car and qualify the car,
Who would you pick then from that pipeline?
Well, I mean, obviously they've got Sammy Smith, they've got Sam Mayer, they've got Justin Allgaier. I mean, they've got guys that are capable of driving race cars. Because if, for God forbid, a Hendrick Motorsports driver gets hurt, they're not going to be able to put Kevin Harvick in the car to replace him for the rest of the year. So part of that was confusing. But for me as a fan, I think it's a huge win because Kevin is on TV talking about these cars, and it keeps him very relevant in knowing how they drive at a short track. For me as an owner, it's a win because to Freddie's point, he's the best guy to bring off the bench that's probably driven these cars and is an amazing racer. As a industry person, my biggest question to Kevin Harvick, which would probably be had behind closed doors, is when you unloaded your SHR car here last year, how did this car drive compared to yours? Why is this car so much faster? What feels different? Because when we left Harry Scott Motorsports and we went to Stewart Haas Racing, Clint made a lot of comments about, the cars and the speed. But one of the things he said is, you would expect this thing to drive a lot different for me to go this much faster. And it's really not that way. This car just goes faster.
I remember.
You see what I'm saying?
Elliott said the same thing too, didn't he? When he was talking about like leaving, I think he left Roush to go to Gibbs,
yes.
or like he said, I'm not driving any different. I'm just going faster. Like I'm just this car just has more speed. But I think it'll be interesting that week, and it'll be great for the people watching the broadcast because Kevin can tell you what the 5 was doing yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, it's not so much he talked to Kyle and got Kyle's feedback or Cliff's and got feedback. Kevin was driving the car yesterday, so he can break down like what they were challenged with, or so I think that'll be an interesting aspect for the people watching at home.
I looked at it 4 perspectives. I bought in for 3 of the 4 reasons.
Yeah, fair. Definitely cool news though for the sport.
Speaking of cool news for the sport, and we almost forgot it, like it seemed like everybody else did this week. Anthony Alfredo won $100,000.
I was about to call that out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Is he buying dinner?
I seen Josh Graham at the bar in the casino afterwards, and man, what a just. I mean, and listen, he wasn't like Jesse Love did get 2 laps down. Him and Truex were racing the hell out of each other, and Riley got turned around there at the end and wrecked. But Alfredo wasn't like some slouch that was running 50th all day and just backed into this. He drove from last up into the top 15, and I think he was running in the top 10 or around the top 10.
He was.
Towards that, at the end of the second stage or early third stage. So they had speed. They were really fast. So congratulations to them guys.
And he was eligible because he did so well at Talladega. So it's not like he's a one and done.
I'm not going to lie to you. Me and Brett were having a conversation with Jesse Love. And who was the 4th guy? It was Jesse.
Ryan Sieg. And Riley
Was
Herbst.
Sieg in it? I didn't realize Sieg was in it.
Yeah, because remember, he should have won.
He won Talladega, but he finished 15th. So I didn't think he was in this one. I thought it was somebody else, but it was, I don't remember. But we were talking to Jesse Love, and I said we legitimately, and probably wrong on my part for saying it, but I said the good thing was you when you get the Dash for the Cash at Talladega, sometimes you end up with guys that you don't normally race with. And if you were to tell me to pick between Jesse Love and Anthony Alfredo going into the race, I'm going to pick Jesse Love every time, 10 times out of 10. So it's the circumstances happen, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something that Anthony backed into. He ran pretty well all day long.
I was watching that awesome little bar in Georgetown, South Carolina, and I was like, why do they keep showing the Dude Wipes car? Because I had completely forgot it was even a Dash for Cash race. And then I finally was like, oh, that's why. So shout out to him, man. That's a big win for that little team. And obviously he gave you some quotes as to why, but that's such a great program.
It is. I think it helps you really highlight drivers who, having Talladega especially. I love post Talladega because these teams that maybe don't have the opportunities all season, they really get to, be proud of the work that they've done and have a chance at a strong finish. And then they go to Dover and, obviously we don't really know what the outcome will be. But for Dash for Cash, somebody like an Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Sieg, somebody who may not have had the chance at a race other than Talladega gets that shot again. So really cool for them. Really cool that NASCAR and Xfinity does that.
It was Leland Honeyman was the 4th.
Dash
for the Cash
Honeyman. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was
Honeyman.
literally Ryan Sieg. It says it on
That
the
was
graphic.
All right, I got a picture here of somebody else that said Honeyman. I
It
could be
says
wrong.
Dash for Cash.
This
Anthony Alfredo.
is a tweet from Brett, so that's probably why I was wrong.
Yep.
No comment.
I don't know what tweet he's talking about.
Was he at the
There's a
same bar that he was
a
talking about it?
screenshot of the 4 Dasher Cash drivers, and one of them's Lehman. So I'm not surprised Brett was incorrect.
The Xfinity website says what Casey said.
I promise. I kind of might know.
I actually trust Casey on this one. That's kind of her
I do
area.
too.
That's her area.
Oh, all right. Well, looking ahead to Kansas, what can fans expect as they catch the races this weekend?
Screw on widen out. Same thing we asked last week. 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, this place.
1-2's phenomenal up top.
This place is
Let
great.
me tell you how wide it's gonna widen out
Weather-wise,
here in a second.
You could probably expect to find me and Brett in a place across the street on Saturday.
As of right
Where are you
now,
staying?
I don't know. I know I'm leaving Saturday morning at 7 o'clock.
I'm leaving at 7:15.
That means I got to get up at like 5:30.
I wonder what time the truck races. We probably can't go.
It's evening.
yeah,
So
because
usually around
ARCA-
night race.
You got the
Xfinity's
ARCA.
off.
You got ARCA race in the afternoon.
Me?
He's going to be wherever Freddie said they're going.
no, I'm not gonna be able to go because I'll be truck racing.
It's gonna be low 70s Saturday, low 73 Sunday, 71
100
Saturday.
mile an hour winds.
Sunny. Oh yeah, loose into 3.
Good.
Pretty much, you'll hear that a lot.
I thought Wizard of Oz was a movie. No, that's some real life out there.
Dude, they've been. Hey man, hope everyone out there. That's some rough weather.
Is there? I haven't.
It was been really bad.
Did they have a rough run?
Oklahoma,
recently?
Nebraska. Yeah,
Last week.
Big tornadoes.
Man,
Yeah,
prayers
thinking
to God.
about
Yeah.
everyone out there. But looking at Kansas, they've noticeably had incredible finishes. Obviously, the wind factor restarts are insane. What as you prep for this weekend, what have you been chatting with your team on?
I mean, like Freddie said last week, this car has shined for the most part on 1.5 miles. So let's hope we hang our hat on a good race.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's really nothing to prepare. I mean, you can watch all the stuff you want. You're just gonna see drivers' tendencies, but restarts are wild, and then you just gotta see how the lanes move around.
Well, I mean, what is Nick going to watch for 30 hours this week?
He's been preparing for this since October.
Yeah,
so he's
he
ready
prepared to
go.
run 5th last. He wanted to be 5th. I sent him a text. Tyler a text. I mean, hey man, great job being right in the position you guys planned to be.
Yeah.
Tyler's pretty witty. His
Just
response
drew it-
was pretty
just
funny.
Drew it right up. Just how he drew it.
Just how you planned it.
Oh, Nick,
6 to 10 mile an hour winds. That's pretty
That's
nice.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
real nice,
Dude, you have no idea how windy it's been this year.
Yeah,
It's been the windiest year
Ever.
that I can ever remember.
Yeah. I love weather elements, and wind is not one of them.
I love weather. What kind of elements do you love?
Yeah, what?
I love cold. I love snow.
Oh.
I love 70 degrees. I do not like above 85, and I do not like wind.
It was hot yesterday.
hot
You wouldn't have
yesterday.
liked yesterday.
So you ever heard of no-see-ums?
What?
Them little
No.
bugs, they're in Daytona. They bite.
So they don't bite me, but apparently they bite the hell out of everybody else.
Yeah.
I was at the wedding in Georgetown.
They know better about you.
this weekend, and
You're lucky.
I guess you can't really see them, and you can't really feel them like a mosquito when it bites you. But
You feel it when it bites
You're
you.
full of insect knowledge. I learned an insect from Bodie, Brett's son, one day. He said something to me. Megan got bit by a red ant. And,
Oh, yeah.
And Bodie said, "Yeah, it's a piss ant." And I was like, "A what?" He
Yeah.
said, "A piss ant." I was like, "What the hell is a piss ant?" He says, "It bite the piss out of you."
Yeah.
He's like 8 years old.
They probably
Say.
I
got
was like, "Jeez."
probably got a
Bodie was the
whole.
hit of the wedding this weekend, as you can imagine.
They probably got a whole colony out there, but in White Rocks.
Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for those who stopped by in Dover this weekend. It was really cool to meet a ton of people, ton of fans. Asked a lot of questions. Don't forget, follow, subscribe, like on YouTube, Dirty Mo Media, as well as Door Bumper Clear.
Leave some reviews too. We need some. I gotta.
Yeah.
I can't go back now. Look, it's
As
too
the
late,
kids would
but
say,
I
smash
can
that
give
like
something
button.
away myself if you need me to. If you leave a review.
Give some. All right,
If you
we'll
leave
give
a review, Freddie might unblock
I'll give you.
you.
I'll give away Brett's phone number if you leave a good
No.
review.
Oh,
Give them
If you
something
give a
people
good
would
one,
like.
we will read it on here.
Deal.
I seen a deal where Denny gave out free booze. Like if you leave a 5-star review, you get a free boo on Denny. So,
maybe if we can put a clip out and it gets about Brett's number, if we get so many hits that we can
Yeah, like if
just
we
post
s-
it.
yeah, I mean, I'll
Yeah.
just
How many?
So I just,
likes?
ironically, I just got a text
Oh,
from, I don't do this random and I
Oh.
just got a text
What?
going, Instacart alert, something Food Line associate has started shopping for you. Karen M wants to know
yeah.
what Nature Valley bar you want. Like,
that
what-
means Jovi signed it.
what-
signs
what
you
is
up for
going on with my phone? Like-
somebody in your house is Instacarting.
Hey,
right
let me
now.
write back.
All right. Well, they go grocery shop. Thank y'all
Extra
so
nuts.
much. Have a great week.
Maybe a pineapple one will be good.
Oh,
Extra
that's a
pineapple.
great idea. We have.
Word.